BIDI. AGAPE banger. Let yourself. October 14, 2020. Well, BIDI is with you and he is with you even more. Regarding my intervention, I would like to adapt what I am going to say according to what you have to ask me. So please ask. Translator for Christina. So let's start with the questions. We're going to start with the first question. Translator. Grigory Grabovoi. He is a scientist, engineer, author and much more. He has captured more than 23,000 numerical sequences. These sequences are in the standard of the creator. They are used with concentration exercises for the global harmony and rescue of mankind. Today, is this work of concentration still adequate? Not at all. It is exactly the opposite of relaxation, of abandonment to what is. It is completely outdated, childish and useless. Turn to yourself, inside yourself, and shut up inside. You cannot change a comma of what is. The only thing you can do, as Abba said, is to scroll through the film faster or slower. As long as you're still playing with frequencies, with intentions, the purest of intentions, you can't find yourself. Only silence, acceptance, embracing what is gives you freedom. Everything else is illusion. And if I can give you an advice, of course, the theater scene is lit more and more violently. Maybe it is time now to stop lighting this morbid theater scene and really to cultivate and let be what you are. As long as you think you're going to change anything, you're not there. Don't confuse the lighting of the theater stage, the lighting that many of you have allowed. But now is the time to stop these games, to stop these unveilings, and to enlighten yourselves. Until you have understood and lived the swindle of consciousness, you are not authentic. I repeat, you are playing childish games. There's no space for freedom and joy there, and very quickly, once your current month is over, anything that is not centered on what you are, whether it is what you're looking at, whether it is what you're looking at, whether it is what you're exchanging on your modern memes, I tell you today that is enough. The commander would have told you in another time, mind your own business. I'm simply telling you today, take care of your heart. Everything else has been useful, but it's enough to watch the movie. It now enlightens itself. It is part of what is written. I urge you to find peace within yourself, because you won't be able to find it in anything outside. Withdrawing from the film, whatever you do, is not about no longer working or no longer acting. Do what life asks you to do for everyone, and take advantage of these few days or weeks before the next month to make peace with yourself, to make peace with this nightmare, because, as you know, the nightmare is going to be more and more virulent. And when you're tired of suffering, when you're really tired of watching this theater scene, then you'll be at peace. All the societal, terrestrial, cosmic and human events have been unveiled. What is going to happen on this earth is a direct consequence of the unveiling of what was hidden, and will literally destroy your dream. The time is in silence, really, in silent communion with all the beings you meet. Everything else will trigger nausea until you vomit the stream completely. If you hold on to the theater stage, I tell you, that stage is bright enough. The play is over. It doesn't need you. If you look at this world in any aspect, with a threshold that is different for each one in intensity, I guarantee you that you will vomit. Do you want to vomit? Or do you want to be tranquil? The dream in itself, in this chaos that you see, which has been called Armageddon, should no longer mobilize your attention and your consciousness. And I advise all of you, all the boss and app who is speaking, I say, the game is over. You have actively participated in your own way to unmask this travesty. You have worked well. It is time to find yourselves again. In any case, the dramatic intensity of the events on Earth will leave you no choice but to go back to the heart of the heart. It is the only place where you will be nourished. It is the only place where you will be at peace, because quite simply the architecture of your society, wherever you are, will simply no longer exist. Quite simply no longer. Peace and truth don't need you, not anymore. You have shown the deception enough, and it's very simple. Each of you will verify it very quickly. The more you look out, the sicker you're going to get, and the more you look in, the healthier you're going to be, the healthier you're going to be, and the more AGAPE you're going to be. Try it yourself. Take 24 hours, 48 hours, or as long as you can, to totally disconnect from your screens, from the morbid information of this world. Otherwise you will be trained, and you will feel it in your state. You will be dragged into the war of all against all, and you will feel suffering in your body that you will not understand, in all parts of your body, until you really and concretely stop dealing with the outside at the expense of yourself. Try it for 1 or 2 days and you will see the difference, even if you're already in the natural state. If you cut off all sources of information, if you were able to stay 1 or 2 days without taking care of the outside world at all, you will find yourself again. I would like to point out that many of you are already in the natural state. You must have noticed in the last few weeks the appearance of various symptoms in this body of flesh that are only your resistance to letting go of the theater, to letting go of the false. You can no longer compose your eternity with the ephemeral. Continue your activities that life imposes on you, but do not impose on yourself all unnecessary bodily suffering. You are all capable of verifying this. Cut off for a few hours or a few days any link with the theater scene, except, of course, your obligations. In other words, today, and I specify that this concerns all humans, whether you are in the natural state, in suffering, or even in ignorance of what is at stake, the more you accept what I have told you, the lighter your body will be, the less it will be able to express pains that are only your unconscious resistances. If you want to be light, if you want to be tranquil, stop looking at the nightmare. I remind you anyway that wherever you carry your consciousness, no matter what you look at, you feed what you look at. You recreate artificial chains with illusion, with dreaming, and you will be struck in this body of flesh. You are going to feel and experience bodily pain. You are going to experience organic pathologies on what has been called the gates of the stars, which you are going to nourish only because you're looking at the nightmare. You are all sufficiently informed about everything that takes place on this theater stage, and I would say that today to continue to be informed is masochism. It is turning away from yourself. It is making yourself physically ill even if you're agape. You have sufficiently enlightened. Now all the light, all its intelligence, and the presence of time zero or absolute, or pure Brahman, is available. It is as if you're beside a well and there is a puddle of water nay. It is as if you know perfectly well that there is a pure water source and a polluted source, the puddle, and you spend your time showing the puddle rather than drinking from the source. Try my advice and you will see how quickly and how much you will be free of these pains. Last detail. If you feel pain on the doors, be it above the breasts, the doors of the liver and the spleen. If you're experiencing persistent pain in these areas today, I give you a piece of advice that you had better follow immediately. It is a direct consequence of your attraction to the nightmare rather than to who you are. I have told you that pain in these AGAPE territories can trigger fatal organic diseases. So I think you want to stay here to see the show, don't you? You will see if you're carrying these pains. I'm not talking, of course, about the crown of the head, nor the pains that may appear at this moment on the heart. I did talk about the side doors and absolutely not the central doors. The side doors, as the name implies, are lateralized, and if you're not on the central axis in the heart most of your days, you will be caught up by the disease, and I am really talking about organic disease. The only way to heal is to stop this morbid game now. Everything you pay attention to feeds it. If you want to move the film forward more quickly, don't worry about any more revelations about the theater scene. It's over. Live heart to heart. Live your profession if you have one. Take care of your family that lives with you, but stop feeding what has been important to reveal it. But it is useless today to make yourself sick. And I strongly urge all those who feel pain in the side door territories to quickly close your screens and radios. There's an urgency for you. And beyond care of your therapists, anything you want to change or improve in this world, through prayer, through meditation, through so-called gate appointments, you are literally sucking your life energy and trapping your soul and your mind. Take advantage of this interval until November to enjoy your free time, to close your screens, your sources of information, and take refuge in nature to stabilize your natural state. What I have just said is formal and concerns the whole of humanity. You have seen enough and discovered the swindle of all those who want to take you to even more illusions. Now it is done. Take care of yourself and no more of the theater scene. It is urgent to decouple yourself from all this morbid cinema so that the film of the film or the last scene of the theater play finally ends. You are in these times. It depends only on you. Either you're the pure light that you are, or you're in the heart of the heart, or you feed this world and its chaos and you yourselves will be in the chaos. Make it a habit when you need to talk, to exchange, to communicate, to talk about beauty, about what you feel inside of you, and you will thus unfold, again naturally, the agape state, the natural state. The choice is yours. I said it already a year ago and even last summer, love or suffering is not even fear anymore. There's no question of making you feel guilty if you manifest these doorway pathologies. Even if you don't know what they are, it is important to nourish yourself, to bring your consciousness to the heart of the heart, to the junction of being and non-being. All the rest is cinema, and moreover that makes you sick. Try it for yourself, unless you're so intoxicated that you can't let go of the theater scene. Already take care of your personal theater by being fully present there, just around you, in your profession, in your family, with your husband and with nature. You saw that on October 12th the whole intergalactic confederation joined you. I could tell you that it is not you who are waiting for them, it is they who are waiting for you, when you will have decided to stop feeding the trap that all the media, you call it, of the planet captivate you with the fear of a pandemic, which is only a pandemic of love. Realize, you will not be able to avoid what comes on this planet around All Saints' Day, your feast, whatever you do, whatever you say. It is time to become simple again and really, truly, to heal yourself definitively from this dream. How do you want to heal yourself from the dream, even if you're in the natural state, if you keep looking at the dream? But you're going to live a nightmare. I guess that is not what you want. The face-to-face between the ephemeral and the eternal is realized. You still have to get out of bed, out of sleep. For that you have to stop dreaming, you have to stop projecting yourself. Where is your trust in the intelligence of the light that reveals everything? Talk about love, talk about what you live, talk among yourselves, about yourselves. You have no other alternative, love or suffering. And you're all living it. Realize it. AGAPE tells you that in the natural state there is no suffering. There can be pain, but realize what you're experiencing for those who feel and live the heart, really, and at the same time they're afflicted with pain. So when I was talking about the doors, I told you about the 6 front side doors, and I also tell you that there are 2 side doors in the back on each side of the sacrum. Look for those who had pain or illness at that level. I will take just 2 examples, since you all have the literature from Author's Dimensions, which explained to you before my 2012 intervention what those doors were. If you don't go in deep enough, you're going to have pathologies in your lower right belly. If your mind, which you're in truth, is too interested in the theater scene now, then you're going to have pathologies in the territory of the mind, the left breast or above the left breast, that is, all the organs and functions that are in that area. I'm not going to go into detail about all this, but please ask about it. It concerns your interior. Having warned you of this, we can move forward. Translator. Since we are talking about pain as what BIDI can enlighten us, what does pain in the kekeks mean? In the middle. Translator. At the bottom of the spine. The sacrum. It has nothing to do with what I said. I did talk about laterality. I'm not here to diagnose how you feel. I'm sorry about that. On the other hand, about what I said about the side doors, you are very much experienced in it, and don't hide behind a so-called door activation since all doors are activated whether you feel them or not. I've given you a physical benchmark that allows you to measure your progress toward the natural state. It is up to you to verify it. More questions? Translator. Since September when I got fatigue. Taken by A. Translator. Fatigue. A what? Translator. A fatigue. A fatigue. Translator. Yes, a fatigue. Are you still sick? Translator. Yes, yes. Translator. A sudden tiredness, around 16 and 17 o'clock, which forced me to go to bed. At the time, only the word agape resonates in my head, like Hickens. Soon after, my body starts to vibrate intensely, and then I feel nothing, no vibration, not even the body, just an infinite and wonderful peace. There's nothing. The first time I passed through the space a silhouette of an Indian and like a chalk drawing in a blackboard. Translator. 2 hours passed, and when I came back my heart was beating very fast, my vision was blurred, and I felt like a tingling in my head. It happened several times. The second time I felt AGAPE and BIDI, but there was nothing to see. I felt one on each side, but I couldn't see them, and meanwhile my cat started licking my legs without stopping. This tiredness and the desire to go to bed was constant, and I started to wonder, would it be a runaway? Is it? Translator, a runaway. What? Translator, I wondered if it was escape. Translator, I started by avoiding the bed. And other times I had strange dreams until last week, when the intense vibration came. Only this time, instead of licking my legs, the cat came and licked my face and the vibration stopped. The question is, if it is really a form of escape through fatigue, or if it is the beginning of the extinction of consciousness. But of course, it is the extinction of consciousness. Indeed, between 16 and 17 o'clock, whatever the country, many of you have felt this kind of fluctuation. There's nothing pathological about it, it is normal. I answered. And there was no need to make such a long description. Translator, BIDI, please don't get angry with the messenger. What? Excuse me, but there is a foreign voice and the translation starts before the foreign voice is silent. You have to give it time. Translator, yes. Otherwise the voices overlap. Translator, the Arcturian said that you can start fasting by starting with an intermittent fast of 16 hours, for example, from 8 o'clock until 12 o'clock the next day. Tell me, are you self-reliant or do you rely on what you're told? Everything I tell you, I ask you to verify it, I don't ask you to do it stupidly. So of course you're going to have a lot of teachers who are going to tell you that you have to fast, but it's different for everyone. Of course, there's a decrease in the amount of food, it's related to everything that happens. Some people don't eat any more and others eat 3 times as much. I remind you that the goal is no longer as it was in 2009 to go up in vibration, as you may have done in 2009, but to go into silence. Go into nature and that's it. The vibrational aspect, vibratory, especially for those who live them today only for a short time. Their cups. Translator, yes, I think so, yes. You can continue. So I was saying, about the food and the vibrations and everything else, be silent within yourself and listen to the response of your heart. It seems to me that many years ago the commander of the elders told you about the response of the heart. Trust that your body asks and do not follow everything that is told to you, big by the Arcturians, the Syrians, from wherever you want. I tell you again, the best gift you can give yourself is to be self-reliant. From there you have very little chance of making mistakes, and even if you do make a mistake, your body will tell you. Notice how all of you today, without exception, are trying in one way or another to hold on to the known, to guides, to teachers. You have not seen that with the openness that there are of this moment countless brothers and sisters, although they have been informed for a long time of the events of this earth, are already dreaming another dream. They promise themselves to wake up great moments of suffering until they let go of all their pretensions to the dream. On the other hand, if you're involved in the dream by your responsibilities, by your family, by your work, it must be like that for you. And if you have lost your job, if everything has been taken from you, thank you, it is an opportunity to have time for yourself. Do you understand that? You will live it if you're not already living it. Where is your conscience? Where are your senses? Then of course, if you're AGAPE, you can continue to play with the theater scene, but you'll be in pain. It's up to you. It's up to you. Where are you? Outside or inside? But the more days go by, the more you'll find that it is one or the other. Inside it's light, outside it's going to get heavier and heavier. And sincerely don't worry about fasting, I didn't ask you to eat either. Because in any case, the very circumstances of the nightmare will more or less completely put an end to eating. You can see how your possibilities of moving and living in the dream evolve. So are you grumbling about the deprivation of personal freedom, or are you rather happy and joyful to have time for the inside and the real? It's up to you. Another question. Translator. When I fall asleep, whether it's day or night, a rather heavy sound comes out of my chest. It's like there's something strange living inside me. It's a dance of the heart, the three-beat dance. It's the manifestation of the ascending crown and the ascending heart. It's the activation of the double terrace of the heart and time zero in the middle of the heart of the heart. Indeed, it may seem like something outside the body, and yet it is inside. It's the ignition of the terrace. It's normal. Just as I say, the compressions in the chest are on the contrary the impression of explosion. Everything is normal, I told you, except what would appear on the side doors. Translator. Someone here asks if it makes any sense to put crystals in those side pane doors. Where's the question? Translator. If it makes sense to put crystals in the side doors, if you have pain. No, you have to go in there. Only you can do that. The crystals will relieve the pain, but absolutely not the disease that is associated with it. You are still looking for a solution. You are looking for an outside solution. Keep these external solutions to cure what is normal. This pain or suffering, or disease on these side areas, are not normal diseases. Whatever the symbolism of the region, even if you're living the fires of the heart, it means that somewhere still inside you, you are not yet sufficiently disgusted with the nightmare, and, above all, you still believe that consciousness is real. Translator. Another question. Good evening. I don't have an appetite anymore and I force myself to eat. I also have the vice of smoking like never before, despite the fact that I was a seasonal smoker. Thank you for that. Loss of appetite is normal, in the current context where you live. It just proves that it is the intelligence of light, the adamantine particles that feed you much better than even the purest food. Some of you only need to eat once a week. This is not something they have decided since, as you said, the appetite has disappeared. And besides, for those of you who are still in the habit of eating at such and such a time, when you're not hungry, you are going to get sick. You're going to overload the door of the liver, the door of the spleen. And if you persist, organic diseases will appear very quickly. Do you rely on your past habits, or do you rely on what you are living now? Even for those who no longer have an appetite, you can see that you're not losing weight, or very little. What I mean is that the intelligence of light makes this bag of meat intelligent. It becomes the temple, the receptacle of truth, even if it is illusory. And this temple speaks to you. It will never speak to you about this world, but it speaks to you about you. The body speaks to you. And if at this moment you have noticed, since this summer, the aggravation of your pain or of your lateral illnesses, it is not worth going for crystals or a diagnosis, you had better straighten things out very quickly, rectify things, and get back to it quickly. This is how you live the truth. The body is not there to betray you. The body, I repeat, this sack of meat as I have called it for years, is a receptacle of who you are. Everything happens here and now, inside. And not outside. And even Abba, who for months has been taking jubilant pleasure in informing you about this theater scene, this must stop. Everything has been enlightened. And if you continue to want to shed light on the most sordid things of this theater scene, you will be sick. Everything is enlightened, as I said, but the expression says, you haven't seen everything yet. Well, accept that you have seen enough. Take care of your garden, take care of nature, use your hands to create, use your legs to go out into nature, use your body to take a nap without asking for anything, and you will see the cessation of pain, suffering and fatigue, immediately. This is not an asceticism, it is not a practice, it is something to be verified and validated by yourself. It is really time now, outside of your life's obligations, to spend as much time as possible within yourself, far from the screens, far from discussions about who is right and who is wrong. This is all about the theater scene and not about you. I'm not asking you to refuse the theater scene, you have it before your eyes every day, but simply to give yourself some time for yourself. You have worked very well, the time is now at rest. But don't misunderstand. If you're working right now, it is because you have to work. If you're married to an organic portal, or to what you call, how do you say, a horrible character or, oh yes, a pain in the ass or a pain in the ass, then that's what you have to assume to be free. And if you're without anything, without work, without a place, and you feel naked in relation to this world, thank what you have written yourself. You have all the time in the world for yourself. If it happens like that for you, it must be like that. And if you're in charge of a fortune, financial, emotional and whatever you want, that's how it should be free too. There's no better place than any other. There's just the location that's right for you, no matter what you say. If you also accept your ephemeral from your daily life, you will feel great. We're not going to go back to accepting and welcoming what is, but maybe it's time to start practicing every hour of your life. Translator, can we continue? Yes. Translator, I feel like I'm living in a reverse cycle. What? I didn't understand. Translator, I feel like I am living in a reverse cycle. If for a long time I saw my life stop, and so I accepted it and embraced it, right now I feel like an inner, joyful urgency to do things. It's as if something inside me tells me that this whole stop has been preparation for this time, for these times. Does that make no sense? Yes, it's different for everyone. While turning inward and silent, some are overflowing with creativity. So create. It's different for everyone. The main expression, no matter what happens in your life, even if you feel tired, even if the crowds are getting in the way, if you're in tune with yourself, whether it's a nap or an important artistic creation, it doesn't make a difference. You are able to feel yourself more and more easily if you're in agreement with yourself, well with yourself, or if there is something wrong. If you're attuned to yourself, you will feel light. Even if you're tired, you will feel this notion of being attuned to yourself. You can't miss this mood. You can only spot it, see it. It's very easy. Just try it. Another question. Translator, the question is, a person who is having memory loss and diminished cognitive abilities, feels like they are surrendering. They feel like they are becoming Nunoi. For translations. Nunoi, Gaga, which means keiki, a little senile. That's what I was going to say. Don't worry, unless, of course, you have real illnesses that usually occur late in life. But if today you're less than 70 years old and it seems to you that you're becoming Nunoi, it is normal. All memories must disappear, each one at its own pace. Memories are the prisons have the soul. They are the prisons have karma that have reality only for the person and not for who you are. Translator. Another question. I understand your advice to clarify and respect the current nightmare and the effect it can have in the physical body. But I thought the recipe for getting out of this nightmare was to see it. It had to be clarified. Yes, it is true. But it's over now. Today, the more you enlighten the nightmare, whether it's by talking about it with each other, by looking at your screens, you're going to be sick. As I said, the lighting is over. The best proof that you can give to yourselves. Now, I told you, go to bed or go out into nature, in your spare time, and don't worry about anything else, except, of course, what you have to do. You don't really feel that everything is enlightened. The levels that are still to be illuminated are so nightmarish, that you will be disgusted with yourselves anyway. And it's morbidly interesting, from now on, to want to go into the horrible details of this nightmare scene. The best way to help is to go into it. And in any case, what the commander calls the bad boys or the puppets, he used to say, soon will cut off all your means of information, all your food, all your financial means. They're very funny, they called it the Great Transition. But they are comedians. There's a transition, but it has nothing to do with what they hope for. You're going to go from surprise to surprise. So the best thing you have to do is to let the natural capacities of acceptance, of embracing, but also of giving yourself to what is truth. Another question. Translator. Yes, again with the reference to the natural being, referred to by Jean-Luc, we can say that the phrase attributed to Jesus, Father, let your will be done and not mine, is a kind of portal that helps us to reach the natural being, being the one who is the life that leads us, wanting to let our life lead. How can we do this? How much what? Translator. Let life lead us to the place where it is life that leads us. Translator. No, he didn't understand. I heard but I don't understand anything. What difference do you make between letting life lead you and the life that leads you? Translator. How it is life that leads us instead of us wanting to lead life. Yes. So what is the question? Translator. The question is, if this phrase attributed to Jesus, Father, let your will be done and not mine, if this phrase is a portal for this change in front of life. I don't see any difference in the three propositions. I'm sorry. It is life that led you on the condition that you're sacrificed to yourselves. I'm going to be even more abrupt. As long as you believe that you're the one who is going to direct your life, yes, direct it for the daily life that is imposed on you, that you have imposed on yourself, but life has nothing to do with that. It has been reiterated. In fact, that is what was said in this question: either you're your life or your life. So what is being asked? I still don't understand it. Christina. The question, from what I understand, is that if Jesus' expression is Father, your will be done and not mine, is a portal for this news. What is this sentence that we have received and spoken for years referring to? To the sacrifice on the cross. Today, if you say, Father, your will be done, it proves that you have not understood that you're the Father and the Son, and that there is neither Father nor Son. So today you can repeat billions of times, with conviction even, Father, your will be done and not mine, takes you away from the truth. You are looking for mental, energetic ways not to understand what I am telling you. Only you can do it. Understand this. You don't need numbers, you don't need sentences, you don't need yoga, you don't need fasting, you need to be authentic and natural, naked. It is no longer time to put back distance or even vibrations, when what is required is silence. It is as if sometimes the words go through you, they go through you, but you don't hang on. How do you say? It didn't print. You keep trying to find techniques, sentences, a series of numbers, crystals, I don't know what other cinema, when everything is already there. You are that. But in any case, don't worry, the intelligence of like that will very quickly put an end to your personal cinema. Why do you want to need to look for something elsewhere? What is the lack of faith, the lack of confidence in who you're to go and look for something outside? Save that exterior for your everyday life. Keep your chemistry, your crystals, your energies to heal what needs to be healed. But to be in this natural state, I repeat, and Abba told you, there are no practices, no techniques, no palliatives. That's what autonomy is all about. You don't need anything but silence and you are there. Everything else is excessive, is a crime against the real. Authenticity is in the nakedness, it has been repeated for years. So perhaps it is brothers and sisters who are intervening for the first time. And I will be even more virulent. You have access to time zero, to permanent beatitude, as soon as you stop believing that something outside of you is going to be better than you. You are perfection, you are beauty, you have always been there before any form. Turn inside yourself to see it and live it. It's not complicated. We're no longer 12 years ago in the yoga of unity, the yoga of truth and all that, it's over. And don't think you're late because you don't know that. On the contrary, blessed are the simple-minded, since they use familiar phrases, for the kingdom of heaven belongs to them. I want to shake you now, whether you're brand new in what I say, or whether you have been hearing me for many years. So if you need slogans, I would say, straight to the point. Don't let yourself be stopped by anything, not by the Archerians, not by me, not by Abba, not by anyone. It is time to understand and live that there's only you, and without any pun, there has never been anyone. You somehow maintain, as Abba used to say or as he could say, the myth of form. This form is ephemeral, there's no truth in it except the logic of the law of confinement of the archons which has been called karma. But all this does not exist in truth. It does not concern you. Stop being actors in this theater scene, except for what you're asked to do or be in your life. Stop being the spectator of this theater scene, get out of this theater and see concretely that there has never been any theater. This is cinema, film. In other words, accept that you're perfect, accept that you're the unknown, sincerely, deeply, with the utmost honesty, and it's over. Save your acting for your role as a parent, for your role as an educator, for your professional role, but stop playing with the notion of spiritual actor, it's a total decoy and trap. Silence. Everybody ran away. Translator. We're all here. We have no more questions. Do you have time left or is it over? Translator, we still have 10 minutes. Then I'll conclude. I won't take much time. Love yourself completely in the unknown that you are. Affirm your inner beauty even without really seeing it, and you will end the distance between what you experience and the real. It is there in profusion, at will, in abundance. Years ago, the commander explained to you in every possible way the arrival of the adamantine particles, the spirit of the sun, the choir of angels, the paracult. All this has been explained, so go and look if you will. The mechanism of surrender to the light was explained during the celestial wedding. It's been 11 years. Today you have a gift. It has never been easier to be in this natural state, in the agape state. But it can't be the natural state and adherence to this world or to any spiritual movement whatsoever. I would even say that breaking the vicious circle of feeling individuality, paradoxically, consists in going inside that individuality, to see that it doesn't exist. But if you're still playing your games, energetic, vibratory, you are not available. I repeat this and this is my conclusion. Many of you, simply by your presence, have unmasked the shadow. I said unmasked and not denounced. The work is done. Take advantage of the interval of time when you're still in this body to install yourself totally in the state of grace, in the agape state, in the natural state, in Shantinilaya. So I could go on with 50 words that mean about the same thing, but that's enough with the definitions. You just need to be yourselves. Be authentic, be true in everything you say, be humble and be simple, and you'll be in that attitude. This will be my last sentence. So BIDI salutes you, BIDI is in you and you're in BIDI, it's that simple. See you soon.
Christina and translator. See you BIDI. Translator for Christina. We too have come to the end of this 4-day journey, 4 days in which we had a part of the AGAPE family and we all loved this part, which for us as a team of the organization, was an unprecedented experience. We are sure that all those who are in this operation, the Let Yourself team, the technical team of our platform, to Gracine our translator, to Jean-Luc our dear commander, we are all living a unique experience. It's clear that there are always things we can do better, my experience is what it tells us. But the feeling that we have understood, on the part of the participants, on the part of all of us, is very positive. We now want to apologize to you if there was anything that may not have gone well. But we are here to always improve. And we are very grateful for your participation. On the registration form, information more specifically for all participants. I would like to make a very special thank you to Jean-Luc because at the end of August, when I asked Jean-Luc for a meeting in Portugal, Jean-Luc at that time told me that it would be difficult because of the confinement. And after a week, after taking it on my head every day, from BIDI and PALMA, I filled myself with courage and I proposed to Jean-Luc this challenge, and AGAPE Webinar. And it's clear that Jean-Luc was the first. Come on, let's go forward. There is an inner felicity that I feel, that I'm not the only crazy person in the world, and there are more like me, explorers of new formulas, and we've arrived at AGAPE to everyone, to the whole world. Thank you Jean-Luc. And to all Portugal. Jean-Luc, thank you to the whole team and AGAPE. Christina, AGAPE. Translator, AGAPE. Jean-Luc, goodbye everybody. See you soon.
Through Jean-Luc A1. Less transformations. English Revised Translation, LMF.